Well, we're going in. I didn't say when, we're going in. When you lose, look, I have an obligation. This isn't a political thing. I have an obligation. When we lose, when 20 people are killed over the last 2.5 weeks and 75 are shot with bullets.
20 people killed, 75 shot with bullets. Trump said he's not going to say when, but he's going into D.C. Folks, welcome to another exciting episode of On TV. Trump is going in to Chicago. Hey, I think I said D.C. a while ago. I'm getting them confused because he's cleaning up everywhere. Let's get back to this video, man. Hey, Trump is going in. Let's rock.
So let me tell you a little story about a place called D.C., District of Columbia, right here where we are. It's now a safe zone. We have no crime. It's in such great shape. You can go and actually walk with your children, your wife, your husband. You can walk right down the middle of the street. You're not going to be shot, Peter. You're safe. Everyone likes you anyway. They probably wouldn't do it. But it's so dangerous. And there are people in this audience that you've suffered greatly. There are people in this audience that have been mugged and hurt badly, and they don't want to talk about it. Maybe you were very brave in talking about it. You made quite an impression on a lot of people. I appreciate it. But there were other people in this room that have been hurt very badly just walking down the street in D.C. Washington, D.C. is a safe zone right now. It's a safe city. The restaurants are open. They're booming. You can't get a restaurant. New restaurants are announcing that they're going to be open. This took place in 12 days. Now it's 15 days, but 3 days ago it became what's known as a safe zone. It's a safe city. And this city was really bad. Really, really bad. We took 1,600 people out, hardcore criminals that will not be coming back anytime soon. And we're very proud of it. You know, to have our nation's capital lose every week. You know, it's like years, many years, where every single week somebody was killed. For many.
Every single week somebody was killed in D.C. He's speaking on D.C. because he's using it as an example of what he can accomplish by sending the National Guard to these cities that these liberal mayors don't want the help in. I guess they want the crime to flourish. But if you notice, he said he took 1,600 people. He made 1,600 arrests out of D.C. and now the city is a safe zone. Now, I don't know D.C.'s population. It's way higher than 1,600. That's obvious. Everybody knows that. My subscribers are smart. I know you know that. That lets you know that one apple can spoil the bunch. All it takes is for him to go in and do a slight cleanup, and the cities could be 10 times safer. I saw a poll that showed that America is like number 2 or 3, the most dangerous place to be in the world. Out of all of the countries, you got to think Islamabad, you got the Middle East, you got to think Asia, you got to think Africa. Some of the horrific things that we hear about that go on over there, excuse me, guys, in America is number 3. Now, there's just maybe 4 or 5 cities that if they were cleaned up, we would literally drop to almost to 180, almost 200. I'm talking about the most dangerous city list of all the countries in the world. We're at number 3. We would drop to almost 200 if we clean up D.C., if we clean up Baltimore, if we clean up Chicago, we clean up New York. He needs to run this everywhere that he possibly can. Let's get back to the video.
Consecutive weeks. This went on for years. And then we had, last week it was announced that nobody was killed last week. And I made that announcement in front of a very distinguished leader of a country. And I'm saying proudly, ladies and gentlemen, nobody was killed in Washington, D.C. this week. He looked at me like, what's that all about? I said, yeah, we have a little bit of a crime problem. And we don't have a crime problem in Washington anymore. And the mayor has been very helpful. And the police commissioner has been very helpful. and it's been a great team. And I would love to have Governor Pritzker call me.
That's what he's waiting on to go to Chicago. He really wants Governor Pritzker to call and invite him and say, hey, we have a problem with crime and we need help. But they're too bullheaded. They're too stubborn. They want to stick with the liberal way of doing things. Plus, I also feel like that they have some under the table illegal things going on that they don't want the federal government to know about. They're running scams in there to get money. So they're not going to call and ask. But Trump said he's going. He's not going to say the time that he's going to infiltrate Chicago, to make Chicago safe, to go in there and get with the police force to clean up those criminals. So, hey, we don't know when, but it's going to happen. Whenever you have a good war plan or a strategy, you never let people know when you're coming. But it's okay to let them know that you're coming. You don't want to. It's a sneak attack, but it's not a sneak attack. It's like clean up your front door, man, because I'm coming. And I need it looking good when I show up. Shout out to OG Donald Trump. Hey, man, I can't wait for him to get back into Chicago. I can't wait for him to go to Chicago. I don't know what it's going to look like. It might be bad. Some people might be foolish enough to fight back. Chicagoans, they got a problem, man, and they kind of dangerous down there and crazy. Let's get back to the video.
I gain respect for him and say, we do have a problem, and we'd love you to send in the troops, because you know what? The people, they have to be protected. I saw today on one of your networks, not a friendly network, except really the opposite, I would say, very unfriendly network. And they interviewed about 12 people on this morning. Most of them were African American, who were black. And they were saying, please, please, please let the president send in. These were people from Chicago. Please, we need help. We need help. We can't walk outside. We're petrified. If the governor of Illinois would call me up, I would love to do it. Now, we're going to do it anyway. We have the right to do it because I have an obligation to protect this country. And that includes Baltimore. I saw where Governor Moore was asking me to take a walk down the street of Baltimore. Well, Baltimore is a very unsafe place. It's rated number 4 in the city, one of the most unsafe places anywhere in the world. But, you know, we took care. This was a beautiful thing that happened in Washington because we showed that it could be done. And this wasn't just sending big, strong guys, and they are big and they are strong. You know, we had a great decision from the Supreme Court that had to do with sort of talent. It had to do with you are put down based on merit. You can hire based on merit. So merit for a soldier or for a policeman is strong, physically fit, having a certain ability, not a person that is woke and got the job through woke, but was.
This is why I rock with Trump. This is why I don't agree with DEI. He just spoke about it. I would much rather have physically strong, level-headed, logical, stoic police officers patrolling my neighborhood to protect me, the women, the children, the elderly, and anybody that's vulnerable out there. Now, when I said that, I know I said me. I need police protection too, but I'm not vulnerable. I'm one of the strong men in society, traditional man. And I don't believe in wokeness. That's what he's speaking about. We don't need anyone in there just as a police officer in the uniform, working as a police officer on patrol because we want equality and let's add some people who are not strong because we want to balance it out and have an equal amount of strong people as we have people that's not strong and they physically can't do the job. And all the other characteristics that come with woke. I know that y'all know what that is, but we can go over it if you want me to. Pink hair, gender confusion, crazy, illogical thoughts. I just saw a video of, I think it's over in Europe, somebody that's over what you can say on social media. You have people over there sexually assaulting and abusing children, female children. and they get to go free. But if you make a post on social media, you will be incarcerated. And when they showed a picture of this person, I'm not sure what the gender was, they were woke. You could look at them and tell that they were woke and they didn't look right. And there's something going on mentally there with the hair. And just by looking at them, you can't tell the gender, the true gender. So this woke stuff is dangerous. Trump is cracking down on it. I think I want to play some more of this video because, man, it's getting better and better, man. Let's get into it.
Strong enough to lift a gun out of the holster, et cetera, et cetera. No, I looked at the police. As you know, last week I went over, we had a meeting with, there had to be 300 people, and they were all very impressive looking. And when the bad guys see them, they're not going to do a thing. And so I'm very proud of Washington. It serves as a template, and we're going to do it elsewhere. But Chicago is certainly going to be high. I would love to have him call. I would love the governor of Illinois. I'd be honored to take his call. All he has to do is say, sir, we need help. It's out of control. And everyone knows it is. He's not kidding anyone. I would love to have, I would say, Governor Moore call, because I watched him over the weekend trying to explain that Baltimore, what they need is housing. No, they don't need housing. They need to get rid of the criminals. These are hardcore criminals. You know,
Of course, they're hardcore criminals. And Governor Moore over there in Baltimore is saying the same exact thing that Mayor Mohawk Brandon Johnson is saying in Chicago. They have a housing problem and they need housing. If I can find a video, I'll play it for you. These criminals are standing in neighborhoods. They have housing. They're not homeless. They have houses. Matter of fact, they commit crimes and they run back to their houses and they hide inside of their houses. And when the coast is clear, they come out to commit more crime. I don't understand these people. Why do you need, you need more houses? And that's going to stop the criminals from committing crimes? Is that going to change their mindset somehow? A lot of criminals that's committing a lot of these crimes, it's a character flaw. The majority of them is not financial. If you haven't noticed, the majority of the poor people, they live on government assistance. They make money on the side, a side hustle. And you can look at their tennis shoes, their jeans, their shirts, their phones. It's probably more expensive than yours, and their phone or their devices are just as new as yours. These guns that they have are very expensive. Even the illegal switch that they put on the back is very expensive. This is not a money thing. This is character. This is mentality. This is the way that they were raised, and they think that it's okay. That's why they continue to do it. Back to the video.
Many people off the streets of Washington, D.C., they're hardcore. They're not going to be good. In 10 years, in 20 years, in 2 years, they're going to be criminals. They were born to be criminals, frankly. They were born to be criminals, and they're tough and mean, and they'll cut your throat, and they won't even think about it the next day. They won't even remember that they did it. And
that's exactly what I was just saying. They'll commit this crime and be on to something else so fast, and you will be gone, and your family will be grieving and mourning. They will laugh. If they see it on the news, they will laugh. It's a notch on their belt. It's a mark of almost, I hate to say honor, it's a mark of hierarchy in their communities. I guess that's the best word to say. Because the more stupid stuff that you do, the more people that you hurt, the more people that you rob, the higher you go in rank in these neighborhoods. That's the way it works in criminal activity. How come liberals don't understand that? They don't need houses. They don't need playgrounds. They don't need a basketball court. They don't need food stamps. They don't need free stuff. They need to be locked away. They're animals. Thank God for Trump coming to save America. I can't wait to see it happen. Let's get back to it.
We're not going to have those people. Washington, D.C. is now a safe zone. It's a safe place. And you can walk, Katie, you can walk right down the street with, by the way, one of the biggest human beings I've ever seen, which is her husband. He was a football player for like 11 years in the NFL. He's a big person. But big doesn't mean anything when they have guns and when they have knives and everything else that they have, right? But you can walk right down the street, even by yourself, and you're totally...
Okay, so look, Trump, he said it. He broke it all down right there in the press conference. Hey, we're going over to D.C. I would like for the mayor to invite me. I don't think that's ever going to happen. But I'm telling you now, that's what he had to say. Now, let's go over Brandon Johnson. Stood up in front of his city, and this is what he had to say.
Are you prepared to defend this land that was built by slaves, a land that was built by indigenous people, a land that is built by workers? Are you prepared to defend this land? The people united will always prevail. I need you all to stand firm, to stand strong. If this president decides to continue to break this constitution.
That's what Brandon Johnson had to say. Mayor Mohawk, out there with his shades on. If y'all don't know, Brandon Johnson was a school teacher, and somehow he got into politics. But somehow he missed his history lesson on the history of Chicago. Chicago was not built by slaves. Go do your research. It was not built by indigenous people. Go do your research. Chicago was founded by a freed African American, a freed black man. He was not a slave. Now, as far as it goes to who built Chicago, I'm not sure. Probably him and a team of his friends, I guess. I don't know. But Brandon Johnson is wrong. He's causing division with that speech that he just gave. And what he's going to do is cause people to actually try to stand up and fight the National Guard, the same people that we use to fight the cartels. And it's not going to be pretty for them. It's not going to be pretty at all. So I got this other video I'm about to get ready for y'all. Before Brandon Johnson, there was another African American, left-leaning liberal as the mayor. She lost the election and Brandon Johnson came in. Well, she came back out to speak. In this video, do you see the lady right down there? Down there in the left corner. That's Lori Lightfoot. If you saw my previous videos, I showed y'all who she was. I showed you a picture of her. Yeah, that's her. And this is what she had to say.
If he comes to Chicago, he's going to be in court, and he's going to be sued by the state. He's going to be sued by the city, private interests that also sue him.
You may have forgotten this, but again, they threw everything at President Trump. They impeached him twice. They tried to remove his name from the state presidential ballots. They laser-focused Lady Justice to eliminate the competition. And how do you survive this? Because he is a political force of nature. What happened over the course of the past 4 years to President Trump should shock everyone in this country. Because one thing he would always say on the campaign trail was this: if he could do it to me, they could do it to you. I'm just standing in their way. We cannot allow this to happen again in the future of this country. That's why we've got to understand our history and how this works. We have to understand that we are a constitutional republic, and we must protect the average citizen in this country, ranging from President Trump to the average person that works every day here in America. Everybody must be treated fairly under the law, regardless of what they do or regardless of what they aspire to.
So, in the beginning, and I didn't know that she was going to speak that short. This is my first time watching this video. Somebody sent it to me, and I guess they were sending it to me to really, the video is really focused on this guy right here. This is Wesley Hunt, Texas senator, representative. He's in Congress, and I'm not sure. I haven't done any research on him. But what he said was very, very powerful. Trump said that back then. If they could do it to me, then they could do it to you. And as you can see, everything that they've been throwing at him, it's been a lie. It's been a hoax. He's been beating everything in court. Cases are getting kicked out. And Lori Lightfoot threatens to send him to court. If he comes to Chicago, he will be in court. Trump is not new to court. I think he knows everything about court. I don't think that he's afraid of court. Now, I got this other video because I want you to see what the residents of Chicago is saying. Y'all hit that like button and subscribe. Putting in a lot of work over here at On TV, bringing you the news, bringing you current events. I'm going to get some more into pop culture. But this is a young lady, a black resident of Chicago. She has this to say about Trump bringing the National Guard to her city and make the streets safer. We can't wait to be able to go out and get ice cream without getting shot. Let's see what she got to say, man.
Of course, now you have Chicago politicians bragging, talking about, no, the crime is down. The crime is down. Maybe by fucking Whole Foods where you shop, but not in the south side of Chicago, where people are still ducking and dodging bullets and can't even check their goddamn mail. This is what I was saying 2 weeks
Fire
ago
and brimstone.
when I said these democratic cities invest in crime. And every liberal in my comment section was like, you said the wrong word. You said the better. You did the better. You said the better. It's not a better. They're investing in crime. There's no progress. They want the crime to fucking continue. That's obvious. Talking about you're investing positively in the communities. You're investing in fucking excuses. You have communities like West Side where there's people who are purposely going out asking for help. Asking for help. Trump said the other day, there's a beautiful African-American woman coming to me, asking me like, hey, can you please come help us in Chicago? We need help.
She's speaking about Danielle Carter, Flip Chicago Red. The ladies that you see with the red hats and red shirts on all the time, they've been battling this probably years. Probably years. Her husband is an ex-Chicago police officer. They know all about it. They're on the ground. They see it. The crime, the migrants with the sanctuary cities and the people that's the citizens, and they've been there and they can't get any type of government assistance or any type of help from the government because they were giving it all to the migrants. And then they experienced the migrants setting up shop in their neighborhoods, illegally selling, opening up food trucks and doing all kinds of things. They was actually, excuse me, selling their bodies right outside, right downtown as you walk and you shop and you, not to mention the bullets flying, the drill culture, drill music culture, the spin culture where they do drive-bys, they call it spinning now, the robberies, the carjackings, the home invasions. They skewed the numbers to make it look like everything was okay to be able to get funding for more crime-fighting programs. The crime-fighting programs most of the time are non-profit or 503(c)(bs. I think that's right. So they run it. They're using it to get funding from the federal government and then just spread the money to their friends. and barely put a little bit. They're giving the money to somebody who's claiming to fight crime, that's sitting in the office every day because they got a program that's supposed to work at the local recreational center with more basketball courts. They're combating crime with basketball games. Now they want to combat crime with housing. If you know what's going on, you know what's going on. If you don't and you're liberal and you think Trump just wants to, what's some of the crazy stuff they say? Disenfranchise black people, incarcerate black people. He's not even targeting black people. He's targeting crime. It doesn't matter your race. Let's get back to this video, man. This young lady spitting.
Crime is at an all-time high. Please help us. Governor's like, oh no, we're okay. The mayor's like, don't send help. How dare you? We don't need no help. Let the crime continue. Let the crime continue. The gaslighting is at an all-time high. You are willing to put your community at risk because you hate Trump that fucking bad. No, what's gonna happen is he's gonna call out your fucking mismanagement. He's gonna call out your fucking bullshit. He's going to call out your corruption. That's what he's doing. These democratic cities think this is some type of game. Every time a criminal is in jail, they're like, oh, you're fucking racist. Every time the National Guard comes in to fucking sweep the shit up, oh, that's illegal. Yet and still, you got the community out here, please, please help us. We need help. We want to live. We're tired of dodging fucking bullets. Trying to bamboozle the public. We know the truth. The communities are speaking for themselves. We couldn't care less what's on the goddamn paper. You democratic cities are trash, and you continuously invest in fucking crime.
It was beautiful to see a black woman say that, a black person, period. Male or female, democratic cities are trash. Why do we not see it? Why do we not understand it? This is where all the robbing is going on. This is where all the looting is going on. All of the shooting. Sexual assaults, murders, robberies. You know, and I just don't understand it. I don't see why there's such a problem with what's going on, with coming and stopping crime in the cities. How can they twist a narrative into fighting crime, stopping crime, making your city safer? How can they twist? Boy, they clever. How can they twist that into anything other than making the city better and more pleasurable to live in? Speaking of twisting narratives, Trump, he had this to say.
In these files, but many of your friends and donors may be, and he says that's why the Justice Department is redacting them and slow walking the release. Is the Justice Department protecting any friends or donors, sir? So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends. You know, it reminds me a little of the Kennedy situation. We gave him everything over and over again, more and more and more, and nobody's ever satisfied. From what I understand, I could check, but from what I understand, thousands of pages of documents have been given. But it's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president.
Now, they're speaking on the Epstine files. And Donald Trump's, he's saying it's a hoax. Just like Russia. Just like China. Just like the other allegations and charges that have been brought against Trump that he's beaten time and time again. Now, I really couldn't find videos on the ladies that held like a press conference recently speaking about Trump saying that it was a hoax. calling the Epsteine files a hoax and how they could be so insensitive and all this and that. And let me tell you, this is how they spin narratives. Trump he wasn't insensitive to what the abuse that the victims went through. He was saying it was a hoax by them saying that his name is on it and they're coming straight for him and attacking him, using it as a way to get him back in court, to take him down, to make him seem like a person that's a foul person sexually, right? So that's what I didn't understand. And I couldn't find a video on it. But I got something else for you. We want to go over this. That was fiery. We got a fiery debate. And we're going to go and get into this with RFK. RFK has been cleaning up the health industry, the CDC. He's been doing an amazing job. He's getting all of these unneeded, a lot of times unwanted vaccines that we don't know what's in the vaccines, what they're putting in it. They're just telling us that we're needing it, shooting us up and getting us up out of there, man. So I got this video with RFK. He's battling, man. He's fighting for the health of this country. I'm with him 100%. Hey, let's see what he got to say.
I got the latest numbers from CDC that 76.4% of Americans now have a chronic disease.
That's crazy. 76.4% of America. That's the majority. Anything over 50% is the majority. 50 and above. Anything over 50% is majority. 76.4% of all Americans have a chronic disease. Let's rewind that. I can't believe that. There the number is right there. 76.4% of all Americans have a chronic disease. Something so sick and something so twisted is going on. We've been trying to figure this out ourselves with the little to no knowledge that we have of health, medicine, vaccines, prescriptions, big pharma. Yeah, big pharma, the big multi-billion-dollar a year monsters that's just draining Americans of their funds. Selling us medications that temporarily fixes major problems so that they can keep draining our accounts for money, for prescriptions, for treatments. They're keeping us sick. They're getting rich off of it. And we don't have a clue of what's going on. We're just trusting these people that's in the CDC. A whole building full of woke people. They want to see you change your gender. They want to see you gender affluent. They believe that male or female or any other gender, made up gender that they came up with for that matter, can become impregnated and have kids. A man. This is the mentality of the people that's pushing these vaccines, these medicines, these prescriptions into your newborns, into your children, into the elderly. They got to do something different, man.
0.4% of Americans now have a chronic disease. This is stunning. When my uncle was president, it was 11%. 1950, it was 3%. Today, it's 76.4%. 8 out of 10 of our kids cannot qualify for military service. This is a national security issue. When my uncle was president, we spent 0 on chronic disease. Today, we spend $1.3 trillion. It's the biggest cause, and it's increasing. And all of the arguments that Republicans and Democrats have about single payer, Obamacare, or the various ways to allocate the health dollars, they're all like rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic.
I got to go back to that. We can hear this again. So, when his uncle was in office, they spent zero. When his uncle was the president, they spent zero on chronic disease. Right now, today in 2025, 1.3 trillion, not million, not billion, $1 trillion on Americans with chronic diseases. And that money's going oh my God, this is crazy. Pay attention to what's going on, people.
The issue. When my uncle was president, we spent zero on chronic disease. Today, we spend $1.3 trillion. It's the biggest cause, and it's increasing. And all of the arguments that Republicans and Democrats have.
It's increasing. 1.3 trillion, and it's increasing. And people are combating against change in the CDC. 76.4% of Americans are chronically ill. And people are protesting, arguing, debating, combating changing the CDC that was full of woke liberals. Let that sink in. The world we live in is crazy now, folks. Man, over here on TV, we're going to be praying for you. God, please protect our children. Please protect the people of America. Please protect our elderly from the sick, demonic, evil spirits that's infiltrating the mind of the people that are put in these powerful positions to make extremely, extremely serious decisions on our life, our livelihood, our health, and our lives. Please, Father. Amen. We needed that. I pray for my subscribers. I love my subscribers. We need to be protected. We need the right people in place. This is not Republican, Democrat. This is serious. This is life or death. This is your health. You could live 90 years in pain or with chronic illnesses, and they're just giving you a little temporary fix, enough to keep you alive and keep draining your pockets. And if you don't have it, you would be in serious pain until you pass. If that's not demonic, if that's not the devil, if that's not Satan himself, then I don't know what it is. Let's get back to this video.
About single payer, Obamacare, or the various ways to allocate the health dollars, they're all like rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. If we don't end this chronic disease, we are the sickest country in the world. That's why we have to fire people at CDC. They did not do their job. This was their job to keep us healthy.
Thank you,
And
Mr.
I need to fire some of those people to make sure this doesn't happen.
He needs to fire some of those people to make sure that, hey, this don't happen again. This is insane. This is crazy. Hey, the demonic spirits are in full force out here. The demonic spirits is in full force out here. So RFK, he had a conversation with there's another conversation I got for you. Elizabeth Warren, Democratic. And you're going to be able to tell she's Democratic, liberal with the woke mindset. Listen to the words that's coming out of her mouth. Check this out.
confirmed in this job.
You're going like this.
That is, you promised that you would not take away vaccines from anyone who wanted them. You just changed the classification of the COVID vaccine.
I'm not taking them away from people, Senator.
It takes it away if you can't get it from your pharmacist.
Well, most Americans are going to be able to get it from their pharmacy for free. Most Americans will be able to get it from their pharmacy
the
free.
The question is, everyone who wants it, that was your promise.
I know I didn't. I never promised that I was going to recommend products with which there is no indication.
When you said...
And I know you've taken $855,000 from pharmaceutical companies, Senator.
Did you hold up a big...
She took $855,000 from pharmaceutical companies. Excuse me. Don't let that fly over your head. $855,000, that's not nothing to sneeze at. Elizabeth Warren done that. She became, as soon as she got in office, she became, a billionaire in like a year. Her and that one sitting right next to her. Bernie. Her and Bernie been draining people's accounts for years, man. Insider trading, making deals with big pharma and getting paid. And they don't like that RFK, the transition that he's got going on in the CDC, is in direct crosshairs of their financial overflow. It's right in direct crosshairs of their deals that they're making. They are angry, they mad, they don't want him to change it. The money's going to stop for them. And hopefully we can find out what criminal activity they got going on and have proper consequences. May everybody get what they deserve.
I'm saying you were lying when you said that, because you are the one who said you would not take them away. Now, Senator Kennedy,
I'm not taking them away from anybody.
Secretary, you
want me to indicate a product for which there is no clinical data?
Senator,
is that what you want?
Secretary Kennedy, you said you wouldn't, and now you did.
I'm not taking them away. Everybody can get access to them.
Not the FDA, why you?
So that's what's going on. This is getting crazy, man. So more videos on RFK. They say that he's wrong and he's denying people vaccines. That's not what he's doing. That's not what he's doing. You always have to pay attention to what's really going on and don't just take everything for what they say on surface level. Here we go.
Unilaterally changed the parameters for giving vaccines, making it possible now, to Senator Cassidy's colleagues' points, that they're going to have to go off-label.
This is crazy talk. You're just making stuff up.
To prescribe a vaccine for children. I'm not making things up. Do you know how the FDA approval process works and what happens?
I know exactly.
Do you know what an off-label prescription is?
I know exactly how it works. I know exactly how it works.
So why behind closed doors?
It's not behind closed doors. The industry makes the studies, and they could not provide a study that said that it is effective for healthy kids.
So when have you produced the data that you relied on and that this FDA relied on to change those parameters? You did it behind closed doors.
No, the data is all public.
Now parents who decide that they do want their children to have
You're just making stuff up, Senator.
I'm not
You're just making stuff up.
You know, sometimes when you make an accusation, it's kind of a confession, Mr. Kennedy. So let's just settle with this. So here's what's going to happen. To Senator Warner's point, to the parents who are concerned all around the country, to people who want to get the COVID vaccine this fall, even if they're under 65, because the boosters have worked, there's been much less serious disease. People do not have the same level of threat and risk from COVID that they used to because of these vaccines. People who want to exercise their freedom of choice are being denied that.
Everybody can get the vaccine.
Because you are citing data that you won't produce to the public.
You're just
and you
making
are
things up.
rejecting
You're
science.
making things up to scare people, and it's a lie.
With respect, I do not think I'm the one making things.
You are lying right now.
So this was back in June of 2024, and he was arguing about the vaccination shots, of C-19. And he was telling us back then what we all are finding out and what we know now. So shout out to RFK, man. RFK Jr. been fighting for the people for so long. He's been putting this down, putting this together for us, and saving and helping our people. Saving and helping our people. So, with that being said, shout out to RFK Jr. Hey, man, it is what we got. You know, these demonic spirits, everything that's going on in America today. Y'all be safe out there. Y'all be safe out there. Now, I want to go on over to Trump has been speaking about Section 8 and HUD housing. And he's got the HUD House Secretary Scott Turner working with the Trump administration. I got a video on that. Let's get into say. This video's kind of long. Let's get into it. Housing and Urban Development Secretary Scott Turner discusses first 100 days at HUD.
You know, progress and success doesn't just happen. You have to be very intentional about it. You have to be very focused about it. One thing we did on the first day when we came in here, Alec, is that we said we're going to restore the mission-minded focus of HUD. We're going to keep the main thing the main thing. What is the main thing? We're here for a reason. We're here for a specific time. We're called to a specific mission to serve the most vulnerable people of our country as it pertains to housing, as it pertains to homelessness, as it pertains to disaster recovery, the development of communities, forming public-private partnerships. And so we are very focused, we're very detailed, and we're very deliberate about what we do here. And so when you look at the accomplishments, such as tearing down burdensome regulations like the affirmatively further and fair housing rule from the Obama-Biden era, to take down this zoning tax, if you will, that was established here in Washington picking winners and losers in local communities. We took this rule down in order to restore flexibility and restore the power back to localities, because every city, every community is unique. And so to give freedom to developers, give flexibility to localities, and restore the innovativeness and the creativity of private builders so that we can eradicate and attack the home affordability crisis in our country. The second thing is you look at the border. You know, during the Biden administration, they were very irresponsible, had negligent policies as it pertains to border security. Thanks to President Trump's leadership and Secretary Noem and others, our border is 99.99% secure. And because of that, we are now securing and protecting the resources of American taxpayers. What do I mean? We signed the MOU with Secretary Noem that said we will no longer allow illegal aliens to live in HUD-funded housing. Our only priority at HUD is the American people, American citizens. Our taxpayers expect us to be good stewards over taxpayer dollars. And so now with this MOU and this partnership, we are ensuring that American people live in HUD-funded housing. Also, with this partnership, it's a data collection emphasis to understand who's living in housing that's funded by HUD. And our FHA insurance, our FHA-backed mortgages, which is also backed by American taxpayers, we took out the non-permanent residence category out of the FHA. The Biden administration turned a blind eye to this. So now if you are an illegal alien in our country, you can no longer receive an FHA-backed mortgage.
And it should have been done a long time ago. The taxpayers are paying for that. The illegals are coming over here. They're getting the government assistance. They're getting the Section 8. They're getting the HUD. That means they're getting the home. The taxpayers are paying for it. It's coming out of the money of the federal government that's provided to the federal government through me and you, the taxpayers. They're using this stuff and they're making money with the side hustles like I spoke about earlier. And they're living better than me and you. And they're cheating the system. They're using the same benefits and survival tactics, safety nets that a lot of us hardworking Americans can't get. We can't get ahead because we cannot get the things that we need to get ahead. And somebody who just hopped the fence and come over here illegally with no paperwork, no vaccinations, no anything, just them and some kids in the backpack. They're eating up the funds and the states can't sustain it. That's why sanctuary cities was a big fail. Back to the video.
This is only for the American people, American citizens. And so those things, along with taking down the equal access rule to ensure that we restore biological and biblical truth. When you enter a HUD-funded facility, for example, a women's homeless shelter, that you're entering at your sex at birth. A female shelter is for females. A male shelter is for males. And so we wanted to take this rule down to protect the women of America and ensure that when people enter into a HUD-funded facility, they are entering in at their sex at birth.
See, and there's more confusion. There it is. When you go to questioning gender and saying you can change your gender and doing all of this. Okay, if you were born a male and now that you say you're a female and you've done your transition and you're running around dressed like a woman and, you know, just doing all the crazy stuff that they do. Whenever you need down on your luck and you need housing or you need to go into a shelter, a homeless shelter, these are not co-ed. These are male and female shelters. They keep them separated because they don't want them in there fraternizing. Can you imagine being in a shelter and you can't provide for yourself and you end up impregnated? That's why they don't have that in there. And when you go to crossing the genders, there you go. Here comes all of the confusion. If you're woke, then you have to ask yourself, do I let him in here and do I trust him? When you end up with pregnant, homeless women, you know that there's going to be a big, big, big problem. This is crazy. I've said it time and time again. I don't understand the mentality or the mind frame of these people. This is totally insane. So we got a resident. He wanted to speak up about it a little bit. And let us know his experience or what he's going to basically break down what it is in simpler terms, because I know that old Scott Turner, he was going in, he very intelligent. So we got a guy on the street. He's going to break it down in simpler terms. Let's get this video going.
This is major breaking news. Donald Trump has advised the Housing Department, the U.S. Housing Department, which is known as HUD, H-U-D, who's in charge of Section 8 households, to now perform a full-fledged audit of all residents in the United States for citizenship and will begin evicting families that are mixed status. For example, if you are a parent who is an illegal immigrant, but you receive Section 8 through your children for housing, you can be evicted. This is part of an audit Donald Trump has instructed to Scott Turner. This would mean that 2.3 million families are at risk of being evicted if one or more family members do not have citizenship in that household. Please share this. You can follow from our news updates, but you don't have to.
2.3 million families could possibly be evicted under the new housing rules, HUD Section 8. No illegal immigrants. If you're illegal, if you're related to somebody illegal, if somebody illegal is living in your house and you receive any type of Section 8 HUD benefits, then you will lose your benefits. And it's been like that. I don't know why everybody's so up in arms. I'm a man. I'm a father. If my daughter's mother, my child's mother wanted to get on those benefits, me as a man, I wouldn't be able to be in that house. If they done an audit and they caught me in that house, if they caught my clothes in that house, my work boots, my toothbrush, any signs that there's someone living in that house that's not supposed to be living there, you're subject to lose your Section 8 and HUD funding. You're subject to lose your help. You're subject to lose those benefits. It's been like that. All they're doing is just revamp. They're bringing it back up. They're bringing it back. Why is everybody so up in arms? Why is everybody crying? The main thing here, man, is my people. If you tuned in and if you subscribe to Unk TV, man, I'm going to make sure that I keep you updated. I love you guys, man. Y'all stay safe out there. I pray for my viewers. I pray for the people that watch Unk TV. I pray for the ones that comment. I listen to you. I respect your opinion and what you have to say. I take everything that you say into consideration because I don't want to be in the echo chamber over here where everybody just agrees. I like when people disagree sometimes. Because if I can be wrong, I'm not perfect. I'm not human. But one thing I know, there's right and there's wrong. And if I can if you can show me the right way, I'll examine my way and I'll examine your way, and we'll see which one is more right, which one is more morally, correct. And we could go from there. Man, y'all hit that like button, subscribe. Don't forget to turn on that notification bell so that you can stay updated on the latest videos coming from Unk TV. I love you. We'll be back with more videos. Y'all have a good day, man. Peace.